What really has helped you understand different languages?
For me, I found that the best way to motivate yourself is to find the right people. It's having weekly Zoom calls with a Taiwanese friend.
It was a woman. It was on Bumble.
I can notice a lot here in Taiwan that you need to take every opportunity. For example, when you're at a 7-Eleven, you can just awkwardly show your side too. You can ask and have some small talk, and this is the moment you practice. And what is this guy gonna do? Is he gonna laugh at you for trying? I like here the environment that everybody's very encouraging. You say a few words and everybody's like, "Wow, 你中文很好."
Hi everyone, welcome to the show today. My name is John Drummond or Yang Haoen.
Hi, 大家好，欢迎回到 NG 英文，我是 Stephanie。今天我们的来宾 Jens 来自于荷兰，那他从小就非常有创业家精神。他曾经经营过一个线上学习平台，叫做 Think。那我们接着继续听他的创业历程吧。
We have a great episode for you today with my good friend Jens, who is from the Netherlands, aka Holland. He is an entrepreneur, a language lover, a curious mind, and so much more. So everyone, please welcome Jens. What's up, Jens? Thank you for joining us today on NG 英文, my man. So cool, man. We met at an event, a blockchain event that I was speaking at, and yeah, we connected then, I believe, on LinkedIn and had a great cup of coffee. Well, probably in your standards, a terrible cup of coffee. And then we got to talk about your entrepreneur life and your language life. And so I was hoping you could start us off here on NG 英文 with who is the man, the myth, the legend?
Right, that's a very open question. I mean, I could go into many things. But yeah, I think I've been, I'm from the Netherlands. I'm very curious if people would recognize the accent. In Europe they do really can tell the accent, but a lot of people think I'm an American, so...
Howdy.
Yeah, man, but from a very early age onwards, I've been very entrepreneurial. I remember my parents telling me, that as a little kid, I was always, running some museums to sell, setting up some spook nights, events. And when I was before I went to college, I started my first e-commerce business, cooling backpacks, which was quite fun. And yeah, in college I studied business, which was really, really boring. But on the bright side, it got me a lot of free time to play around and build some other organizations. And yeah, I got really passionate about learning. And college isn't really, I'm learning not that much there. But I really was able to challenge myself to learn in different ways. And yeah, so slowly with the learning in some few side directions, with some few projects here, philosophical events organization, and then doing some consulting work as a learning and development consultant. So at that stage, I got this idea about e-learning. I noticed that in the whole industry, all the e-learning is very developed already. You have many different courses on Coursera or EDX. But then I realized, hey, there's still a lot of people doing workshops, and why is that? And then I had this idea, hey, it's really about people. It's really about community. It's really about people wanting to talk to each other, reflecting on ideas, listening to their own values, getting feedback. And with that idea, there was something missing in the e-learning space. And so we created this startup called Think with a Y, because the Y is more important than I.
That's marketing 101 right there, friends. Yeah, man. I love that, first of all. Think with a Y, because the Y is more important than the I. It's awesome, man. And you said it so beautifully, right? You focused on projects that were really thinking more about the community side, and rather than just hitting sales numbers or the bottom line. And so with this e-learning platform, you're basically entering in the world of edtech now, which is what we are here at HOPE 平方.
Jens 的父母果然没有看错，他是一个非常有生意头脑的人。他刚刚用 entrepreneurial 来形容自己，其实应该很多人会听过 entrepreneur， 也就是创业家。那 entrepreneurial 其实是在形容一个创业家特质，例如白手起家，或者是看到机会便会勇于尝试的人。但我真的得说，我非常佩服 Jens， 他居然在上大学之前就经营一个两杆背包的电商生意，应该当时也才17、18岁吧。我17、18岁的时候还不知道在干嘛呢。 来宾也有提到他大学的时候是读商科的，但他其实觉得在大学的时候并没有学到什么，反而因为这样的关系他得去找其他的学习管道，但也因为这样子的过程，所以他才对于数位学习感兴趣。
And can you take us through a little bit? You've shared with me off air that unfortunately it didn't succeed, but I think that there's a lot of beauty in that. And so I was hoping you could share a little bit of, kind of what did you learn through this whole process?
Oh, the cheesy pickup lines are not enough even for a company slogan.
Slogans are important, but there's also then the bottom line does count.
Yeah, it was truly like a Silicon Valley movie-like experience. From ping pong tournaments to eating junk food all day to meeting with very fat investors. But it's a lot of hard work and it's very fun to do it because in a startup every single day is a challenge. A client calls and like, hey, do you have what's the price? And you're like, shit, how do we come up with a pricing strategy? And then this is a regular Monday morning. And then 11 you need to deal with the investors and we have a server issue on the back end. Okay, how do you solve that? So overall, very fun experience. But I think one of the things in a startup is that you can get this tunnel vision. So you're really focused on this goal and this ambition. And sometimes you just kind of shut off for outside ideas. And this can bring a lot of motivation. But you also really need to learn and reflect a little. So I think one of the things that we kind of misunderstood is about the edtech industry is that there's many players and it's a very complex industry to sell to, especially if you're selling to companies, to B2B, which is what we were doing.
You've got so many things going on, so many different things to think about. And what I really loved when I met you was, though, your mindset about this all. Your company, unfortunately, is no longer here, but you're still talking about all of the beauty and the lessons learned, the excitement, it's just, you are a true entrepreneur because that's the idea, right? Your companies, you might start, they might fail, you have ideas, they don't come to fruition, but you keep going. And that's kind of where you are now in your cycle is, unfortunately, the edtech company is no longer around. RIP think. The I is back important. But now you are free almost in a way to begin your next chapter.
我真的非常欣赏来宾的 mindset， 也就是心态。因为其实当创业家就是要面对失败的可能性，而很少人可以在失败之后还这么有活力的侃侃而谈。来宾刚刚提到的 cheesy pickup line 可以分成2个部分来理解。cheesy 其实并不代表说有非常多的 cheese， 而是在形容一个人讲话非常油腔滑调，而且有点俗气。那 pickup line 的话就是撩妹或者是搭讪的时候的开场白，所以把这2个放在一起就是非常油腔滑调的一个开场白。那其实很常听到另外一个字就是 corny 跟 cheesy 有点类似，但其实 corny 是在形容就是比较老套，而且通常是形容笑话、故事或是电影。
So where do you see yourself now in the world of entrepreneurship?
I think if you're an entrepreneur, you really cannot stop. At one point you will just get ideas and you can relax and go on holiday. But even after a couple days at the beach, you're like, oh, this is so annoying. I need to build something new. So I was for example, I was in Thailand a couple months ago, and I was in Krabi, and there you have this boat service to one of these islands.
Raleigh?
Yes, that's the one.
I used to live right there.
Oh, shit.
I used to go all the time. The one right next door to Raleigh, I'm forgetting the name. Do you remember the name?
Koh Hong.
Koh Hong, is that it?
Hong Island?
Yeah, it was like more like the Rasta, the Thai Rasta vibes and the rock climbers. Dude, I used to go camping there all the time. Oh my god, I love that you know exactly what we're talking about right now. Okay, sorry, keep going.
So I was there, and then I was traveling by myself, and in this boat service you had to wait for other people to show up to get the boat full before it would leave. Now, at first I went to the popular destination. I think this was Raleigh. This was all good. I needed to wait, I think, 30 minutes, which is okay. But then the next day I wanted to go to a little bit more remote island. And I waited 1 hour, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna come back later. Still no new people. An hour later, still no new people. And I was so frustrated by this whole process. I was like, okay, a simple piece of software can solve this. So I was thinking, okay, I can build something really quickly. Well, it wasn't that quickly, so I spent the next 2 days locked up in my hotel, building them a website, just to go to the next day to show it to them, and only to realize they didn't understand any of it.
Wow. Yeah. So interesting right there. You built them a website so they could have like a toggle to say how many people are there, how many they need to fill, so you could check it online.
Yeah.
Don't have to go all the way down to the dock. And they didn't want anything to do with it.
Well,
you think it scared them, that innovation concept, is out of their comfort zone?
I think, their mobile phone didn't even have internet. So I think there's just a lack of understanding. But anyways, I claim their Google page. So if you know Google Relay Boat Service, you will find my website.
Check that out. Entrepreneurial.
Right.
So cool, man. And yeah, so that kind of leads us though to, what are you focusing on right now for work in Taiwan?
Right. Yeah. So after my startup phase, I really fell into this post-startup depression mode. And I really was, figuring out what's next in my life. It left quite a gap. And then one of my friends in Taiwan, he said, hey, they're opening the borders again. You can come to do language learning. Oh, that sounds pretty cool. So I really love Taiwan much more than I expected. And so I'm looking now for some other cool startups to join, for some more experienced founders where I can learn from, but also to get a ground base to establish some new ideas and to look into new industries. Web3 is a very interesting space, and kind of slowly build on your ideas. I think my previous startup, it was all felt very rushed. So I feel like, we've been through the process. Now maybe take a deep breath and build a bit more solid foundation.
That's a very interesting concept, kind of that rushing to market, or you're just rushed because you don't have enough capital from investors or, from your own pockets. But I love that. Yeah, kind of slowing down, maybe work with a team or a project that's already got some foundation and learn from them, that mentorship. I think it's beautiful.
来宾其实刚刚有说他想要找一些有 solid foundation 的新创合作。其实 solid foundation 的意思就是稳固的基础。我觉得这是一个非常好的想法，因为他也觉得他当时创业有点太赶了。那刚刚 John 有提到 mentorship 其实就是一种指导制度的关系，所以我觉得这个对于他应该非常有帮助。mentorship 里面有分成 mentor 就是导师，还有 mentee 就是被指导者。那成为榜样就是 mentor 的价值，所以无论是工作态度或者是价值观，甚至是行为，都是值得 mentee 学习的。另外很常听到的就是 apprenticeship 还有 internship。apprenticeship 其实就是学徒关系，那 internship 就是实习。那这两者的差别其实在于他们的时间长短跟有没有资薪以及他们的目的。那 apprenticeship 的话，它通常时间比较长，然后有一个完善的计划，那通常是会有资薪的，而且它最主要的目的就是要学习一个专业技能。那 internship 的话，通常是大概暑假或是一个学期的长度，然后它通常是不资薪的，但是最主要的目的是要学取一些经验。
And it leads me so nicely, though, into the fact that you found Taiwan, I believe, in a kind of phase of your life where you were in, as you called it so wonderfully, post-startup depression. Hopefully it wasn't as dark, but if it was, I'm sorry. But yeah, you came to Taiwan because of your language journey, is that right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So after my startup, I fell into this deep hole because I was working 24/7 and now I had nothing going on. And at the time I was wondering, what to do. I didn't want to go immediately into the next thing. So a friend of mine from Taiwan, he said, hey, they're opening up the borders for language learning. I was like, okay, I gotta go. And yeah, it's been very exciting because I've been, since the start of Corona, I've been learning Chinese on the side. And I really hit this kind of roadblock in Amsterdam. Because nothing in the environment is Chinese, is Mandarin. So coming here was a great experience. I feel it's just as a passionate learner, it's amazing to be in an environment where every single interaction you're being challenged. And there's another opportunity for you to learn and improve your skills. And I think that's just amazing.
Beautiful. And that really echoes your mindset for business, because every experience you seem to have within your life is a learning experience, and that's beautiful. I love that about you. It's so cool. So you've been studying Chinese now for about a year. Could you share maybe any tips for any language? Something that helps you. You speak now, obviously Dutch is your mother tongue. In Holland, you speak English all the time, and now learning maybe Chinese. What really has helped you understand different languages?
Right. So I think that the most important factor is motivation. You can have very cool tricks on how to learn words or sentences or grammar, but that all doesn't really matter if you're not motivated. And for me, I found that the best way to motivate yourself is to find the right people, to embed yourself in a community. And I think for me, this is how it started. In Amsterdam, I was having weekly Zoom calls with this Taiwanese friend.
It was a woman.
It was not, in fact.
It was on Bumble.
Then I found this, I got in touch with this Chinese girl she had a boyfriend at the time. And yeah, she was learning Dutch, and this was wonderful. Although I feel at some point we just got too interested in our each other's cultures that, the language was not developed well enough. Yeah, and other than that, I think it's just to challenge yourself, and it really requires you to go out of your comfort zone a lot. Like I notice a lot here in Taiwan that you need to take every opportunity. So for example, when you're at the 7-Eleven, you can just, awkwardly show your 载具, or, you can ask and have some small talk. And
I love that you use that too.
Oh man, yeah.
With all the crypto prices crashing next to it. Oh, they're doing better today.
And yeah, sometimes you feel a little bit lazy because you're not comfortable enough. But then again, this is the moment you practice. And what is this guy gonna do? Is he gonna laugh at you for trying? And I like here the environment that everybody's very encouraging. You say a few words and everybody's like, "Wow, 你中文很好."
Yeah, and it's beautiful. And, I'd say 8 times out of 10, that person won't laugh at you, and that's in most cultures, right? Most cultures, the person just wants to try to understand actually what, because the irony here is that they don't want to be embarrassed if they can't understand you. And so it's a weird psychological thing going on. When you're talking to someone, they're so focused on trying to understand you at all costs, because it might look like they are incapable of something, whatever language that's in. So yeah, I love that you're just trying, and you're having a good time doing it.
来宾刚有提到 motivation， 也就是动力，其实是最重要的，因为无论是在学习或是创业的时候都很适用哦。那刚刚 John 也提到 Dutch 是来宾的 mother tongue， 其实意思就是荷兰文是他的母语。
The funny thing though is about Dutch people are a little bit different, because in Holland you grow up speaking Dutch and English, and so it's native. But if I was going to Holland with my DJ friends and I try to speak some Dutch, they instantly jump into English with me.
Oh yeah, man, this is so hilarious. It's my international friends are having so much trouble to learn Dutch, because everybody in the Netherlands speaks English, and although some people are a bit shy about it, their English is really great. But the funny thing is that once a Dutch person hears a slight accent, like, oh, he's not Dutch or she's not Dutch, they will immediately switch to English. Because I think Dutch people are very much about efficiency, and they feel like, okay, this is very inefficient. Let's just have the more proper medium of communication.
Yes, it's very German in that approach of like, hey, it's not disrespectful. It's actually like, hey, let's be efficient here and not waste each other's time.
Right.
Whereas Taiwanese right now are so patient with us.
Yeah.
They're like, what are you saying? Let me try to understand. Are you saying the east wind is blowing? Yeah, I love it. Shout out to Holland, though. I got a lot of love. So nonetheless, you can find people like yourself to practice with. Well, man, again, I must be your Tinder date, because I keep telling you how much I love your mindset on life, and dealing with a failed startup is no easy task. So I know that, you've been through a lot, and you probably have so much experience from this and the way you apply it to your language now and your future business.
我自己在几年前有去过阿姆斯特丹，真的感受到他们所谓的 efficiency， 也就是效率。因为我是一个蛮急性子的人，所以真的非常喜欢。而且当地用英文沟通是完全没有问题的哦。但我其实发现当地除了荷兰人之外，也有蛮多邻近北欧国家的人移民过来，例如丹麦、比利时、德国跟波兰。所以其实他们的英文口音也有一些不同哦。
But a question I love to end with is, if you could go back and talk to a younger Jens, would there be any advice you give yourself about language, life, business, anything?
Right. I think it's just chill. Not that to say that...
Very zen.
You know? You just chill and watch Netflix all day. But I think a lot of times we put so much pressure on ourselves to learn this language by the end of the month or to do the next thing, this year. And everything will be alright as long as you put your effort in the kind of habits and systems you build.
Building that infrastructure.
Right.
For you, yeah. Very, very meditative in that sense, The concepts of actually doing less can be more. You're not wasting your time, but you're not stressing and straining yourself to the point of burnout, So great. Good. I hope you can manage that when you start your next venture.
Me too, man. Me too.
Especially if it's in Web3, my friend. Let me tell you. Good luck.
是不是很常提到外国人说 chill？ 其实直接翻译过来的意思的确是寒冷，但是现在年轻人口中的意思其实是代表冷静或者是轻松的生活态度。那刚来宾给了一个非常好的建议，那就是我们应该一直去打造一些 habits， 也就是习惯，还有 systems， 就是系统。如果你是一个常常给自己太多压力的人，或许可以试试看来宾给的建议哦。
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn or Instagram. Right, let me get the spelling right.
No one will know.
So yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn or Instagram. My name is spelled Jenswilms.
Nailed it. He still can spell in English. Nice. All right, Jens. Well, thank you for joining us on NG England, and we'll talk to you next time.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Peace. All right. Well, that is our NG England show for today. We hope everyone enjoyed listening to that. You can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and now Spotify. You can search NG England, or you can search on IG, NG English ICRT. And don't forget to tune in every Wednesday morning from 6:30 to 7, and Wednesday night from 9 to 9:30. We'll catch you on the next episode. Bye-bye.